group decision making. In the first one single person considering one single robot's recommendation. But in the real world, sometimes we need recommendations from different people. And very often we're in a group discussion to make decisions together. So how about group decision making? And also, after the result of the first study published, the researchers from the US, from Europe, feel very interested. And the first one, the robot, was very small. How about bigger robot? That's what has been done in the second study, with a bigger robot, like this size. And the robot provides recommendations to two people in a group situation. And then in the second one, the comparison was between Chinese and American. Let's refresh some memory on cultural theories, particularly on the theory of self-control. Remember, we introduced the difference between independent self-control and interdependent self-control. For some cultures, people are more independent, but for some other cultures, people are more interdependent. One more example. In China, even legally, everyone over 18 years old has legal rights and obligations. But in reality, students over 18 years old were still protected by the society, by the university, by parents. In such culture, people are more interdependent. So, if the group member is a robot, when a robot is a group member, actually in the previous study, the results show Chinese compared to Americans. Chinese reported feeling more comfortable and stronger sense of control, meaning interdependent self-control could influence interacting with a robot if the robot is treated as an in-group member, meaning in the group. People can be biased. People can favor group members. How about a robot? The second study designed an experiment with Americans and Chinese, and the robot can be considered as an in-group member for some participants. For other participants, the robot was told to be out-group members. And again, the robot communicated in different way, either in implicit communication style or explicit communication style. Again, we're making recommendations. The implicit recommendation could be like, think twice, it won't hurt you. Or you want to be very careful making your decision. Or just take your time, no hurry. Or the recommendation can be explicit. This decision may not be very good. What about other factors to consider? And in the second study, the change of decision was measured. And the second study hypothesized Chinese as compared to American participants will have more negative attitudes toward robot. And the Chinese compared to American participants will change their decisions to align with the robot's advice less. And this relationship will be mediated by their attitude toward robots. And Chinese, as compared with American participants, will see the robot as more of an in-group member, as more credible, And Chinese compared with American participants will change their decisions to align with the robot's device more when the robot communicates implicitly. This experiment is much larger than the first one. It's a 2 by 2 by 2 experiments. For each condition, there are 20 teams, and for each team, there are 2 people to make decision. So in total, there are 80 Chinese teams and 80 American teams. So in total, there's 320 participants, 10 times than the first study. And again, the 2 samples are homogeneous on age, gender ratio, and education background. But what decision to make, or what decision to change? The task in the experiment was to establish a chicken co-op balancing environmental sustainability and profit. The robot provided recommendations based on some sensor information. The robot can measure the temperature, can measure weight, can measure density. Basically, there are 2 choices. The participants need to make decision to select some chicken having more eggs but producing things bad to the environment, or chicken having less eggs but more friendly to the environment. It is not an easy decision for the team to make. They need to measure density, weight to predict the profit of eggs and then to make the right decision. And again, as long as they make up their mind, make the decision, the robot says something. And we will see if the participants change the decision or not. How do you think? Are they going to change the decisions? Are the findings similar to the findings of the first one? Give a wild guess.